Hello and welcome to the program from the National Assembly, House of Representatives. I am Itaire Ikben. The National Assembly is still on recess for the Yuletide vacation. Lawmakers are, however, expected to resume soon on the 30th of January 2024 if there is no last-minute change to that resumption date. 2023 was quite eventful for the House of Representatives as the House received and considered 962 bills, 500 motions and 153 petitions. 120 bills passed second reading, while many other bills were passed by the House and transmitted to the Senate for concurrence. To kickstart the program today, we bring you highlights of the House plenary of November 9, 2023.
Honorable colleagues, the first business of the day is presentation of 22 bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2023.
Jagaban.
National Entrepreneurship and Artisan Training Institute Ibefun Ilado Ogun State Establishment Bill 2023. National Institute of Creative and Performing Arts Ososa Ijebu Ogun State Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023 first reading. Health Equipment Credit Guarantee Fund Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. Federal College of Aviation Technology Ogume Delta State Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences Kwale Delta State Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. National Institute for Cardiovascular Disease Research and Treatment, Kano State Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2023 first reading. Medical and Dental Practitioners Act Amendment Bill 2023 first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2023 first reading. Police Service Commission Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023 first reading. Fiscal Responsibility Act Amendment Bill 2023 first reading. Finance Act Amendment Bill 2023 first reading. Federal College of Agricultural Technology Otun Ekiti State Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. National Steel Council Act Amendment Bill 2023 first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2023 first reading. National Apprenticeship Training Institute Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. National Teachers Institute Act Amendment Bill 2023 first reading. Federal University of Medicine and Health Sciences BIDDA Niger State Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. National Research and Innovation Council Establishment Bill 2023 first reading. Federal University Gusau Sokoto State Establishment Bill 2023 first reading.
The first order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture Ute Opu to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters standing in the name of Honorable Philip Abese. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 13 July 2023. And I invite Honorable Abese to move that the bill be read for the second time.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to seek the permission of this House that this bill be read on the floor of this hallowed chamber for the second time. Mr. Speaker, I so move, sir.
Honorable Shetima.
I rise to second the motion ably moved by my brother. I so second, sir.
Honorable, please lead the debate.
I rise to lead the debate for the establishment of Federal University of Agriculture Ute Opu Delta State for the second reading. Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, American founding father Thomas Jefferson was very prognostic when he described agriculture as the most tranquil, healthy, and independent occupation in life. Cultivators of the earth, he said, They are the most valuable citizens, the most vigorous, the most independent, the most virtuous, and they are tied to their country and wedded to its liberty and interest by the most lasting bands. Centuries later, Jefferson's assertions still hold water. Nations are returning to the farm to boost their economy. In our darling country, petroleum can no longer sustain us. If agriculture is the way forward, then the focus should be on establishing world-class institutions of learning. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, on this note, permit me to stand here once again to lead the debate on the establishment of the Federal University of Agriculture, Ute Okpu, Delta State. The House may recall that the bill was first read in July 13, 2023. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, the potential benefit of this proposed institution can never be overemphasized. Over 90% of the people of Ute Okpu and neighboring communities are farmers. And honorable colleagues, you will all agree with me that there is a need to promote and enlighten them and Nigerians as a whole on current best practices in agriculture.
Mr. Speaker, for purposes of directing our proceedings very well, I've consistently observed that most of us go contrary to Order 9 Rule 1 in course of leading our debate. It's just to call our attention to this rule of the House. Order 9 Rule 1, Sub Rule 1. A member shall not read his speech, save if he is moving a motion or presenting a bill. When you present it for second reading and it is seconded, you lead your debate without reading copiously. You can refer to the paper before you in course of leading your debate, except it's one for appropriation. So I ask that you take note of this and rule on this point of order.
Try as much as possible to read to speak to the paper rather than reading it. You understand? Just a summary will do. After all, this is an establishment bill. You talk little.
Thank you.
There will be no any commotion or argument at the end of the debate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It is very clear, obvious, and important that today, with our ever-growing population and the need for specialization of fields, that it is not enough for the current number of institutions that we have in this country to serve the interests of those who intend to further their learning, especially in specialized areas. Mr. Speaker, it is on this note that I would like to refer...
Honorable Martin, you and your group there, please can you keep quiet, please?
Mr. Speaker, it is on this note that I would like to refer my honorable colleagues to...
And Chairman Media, please. Hey. Please kindly be attentive, please.
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, it is on this note that I would like to refer my honorable colleagues to the document which I have presented before each and every one for further perusal, and to move this money that this bill be passed for the second reading, because of the importance that not just agriculture places in our national life as a country, but the need for young Nigerians who are desirous of learning, particularly specialized fields like agriculture, which has been confirmed to be the mainstay of our economy, that this motion be seconded and be adopted by the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, Honorable Doctor.
I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by my colleague, to be read for the second reading. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
A bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Ute Okpu, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions. The second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend...
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Something was just raised now. I'm raising my point of order on Order 9, Rule 1, Sub 1, which was just presented by the minority leader. Mr. Speaker, I recall in the 9th Assembly, this same issue came up. And it was raised by the minority on the day Honorable Onyofiok Luke was presenting his bill. And Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila was presiding. And he bordered on this issue. What constitutes the presentation of a bill? What is a debate? And it was ruled. If you go to a vote of proceedings, you will see it. It was ruled on that day. The presentation of bill includes the announcement of the particular bill that is to be seconded for debate, and also the debate. Mr. Speaker, Yanzauza, Order 9 Rule 1, if you go on the right column, it says rules of debate. It didn't say rules of presentation. Presentation is part and parcel of it. Let me finish, please. Let me finish. Presentation of that bill, when I stand up and I say, Mr. Speaker, I wish that bill this that be read the second time, and I sit down and it's seconded, and you give me the leave to lead by debate, I am operating under Order 9 Rule 1, 2, down, under the rules of debate. And the law here, according to our rule, says, Mr. Speaker, said, a member shall not read his speech, save the exceptional clause here is save if he is moving, save if he's moving a motion or presenting a bill. So he is allowed to read. If he's not presenting a motion or presenting a bill, he cannot read, which means, Mr. Speaker, if I finish moving my motion and he want to contribute, or he want to contribute under the rules of debate, he cannot read. He cannot read his own because he's making a contribution. But myself, who is making the presentation, Mr. Speaker, my presentation does not stop with just mentioning the name of the bill. It includes reading from what I have prepared, but summarizing it before you, Mr. Speaker. So that particular presentation by the minority leader, that somebody who is leading a debate should not look at it, is against our rule, Mr. Speaker. So that is my point of order.
I believe that, His Excellency, if we need to discuss this issue, we'll bring a proper motion on notice and then give us time so that we can argue this issue. But for now, we have reached a decision on this matter, sir. You have ruled. The gavel has gone down. That order says it shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session, except a substantive motion for rescission, so that we can set out a day. If we wish, we bring a motion, we can set out a day to look at this and refer to other parliamentary practices. The particular order which His Excellency was talking about says rules of debate. Once you present either your motion or your bill, you are then called upon to debate it, to throw light on it. In course of debating, you don't read verbatim. You can refer to documents to refresh your memory, but you cannot read verbatim. The same practice is done in other parliaments. I'm sure that those that are coming from State Assembly can also attest to this. But what I'm saying is that by our rules, we can't start debating this now. We can bring it by way of motion on notice and take time to debate it. That's my submission, sir.
Time again over.
We are not arguing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are. The point of order was not for you. I'm protected, please. Minority leader, I'm protected. My point of order was now that you rescind your decision. But for us to clarify, because the camera is here, on what the purposive intention of that particular rule, what it says, and you can consult your secretariat, who has been here following this process for quite a long time, for them to educate the House more. Mr. Speaker, this is wrong interpretation of Order 9 Rule 1. Not that you will rescind that decision, but subsequently, we should not cage people from referring to a document they have prepared that will help them explain the presentation that they have. But if you have to make contribution to the debate, you cannot read. You cannot read from any document. If you are going to make, if it is a published bill, a bill that is on notice, and you want to make contribution to it, you send either your amendment ahead of time to the presiding officer to go through before you read from it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All the two of you are right. You are all right. There is no one that is not right in this case. If we are... I think I've been in this house for quite a long time, and I know that when it comes to issue of debate, as much as possible, members are discouraged from reading their own scripts verbatim. It is allowed for you to take 1 or 2 lines and then expatiate, but for you to read it as if you are a newscaster, I know it has always been discouraged. I'm not saying that it is illegal, but it has always been discouraged. And if we look at what is happening all over the world, people don't speak to their papers, to their scripts, their texts. They can take a headline, an item, read it, and then expatiate. Take an item and expatiate. So all the two are right. While our rule did not say you cannot read, but as much as possible, you are discouraged from reading like a textbook issue. We are not in the classroom. So all the 2 points of orders are sustained and they're all right. Thank you. Have we taken a stand on this particular motion? Have we the gavel? Okay, so we go to the second order of the day. The second order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act Cap C4 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, standing in the name of Honorable Francis Waevi. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 5th July 2023. I now invite Honorable Waevi to move that the bill be read for the second time.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise this beautiful morning to move that a bill for an act to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act Cap 1st C4 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 for related matters HB 16 be read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the bill will be read for the second time. Thank you.
Support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Waevi, please lead the debate.
This debate on the amendment of the CBN Act is very timely. We know what has happened with the Central Bank of Nigeria in the last couple...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Order 9, Rule 12, Mr. Speaker. Members shall attend the sittings of the House formally dressed. He has corrected himself.
So at least you know that what you are trying to say is not true now. Honorable Waevi, continue. You are protected.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Thank you. In the stress of our job, it's always beautiful to have some of these times to relax and cool off. This is a very important bill that I'm proposing. In the last couple of years, the Central Bank of Nigeria has carried out a number of interventions that affect the populace in such a way that we as lawmakers need to do something to the CBN Act. In fact, many constituents have spoken to me, many Nigerians have spoken to me, and I believe they've spoken to you too. I have highlighted 5 sections of the CBN Act, which I believe if we amend and we have the power to do so, it will help this country. It will help the central bank in its operations.
The first area I've highlighted is Section 6. And the aim here is to ensure that the chairmanship of the board of the Central Bank of Nigeria is separated from the governorship, such that while one man is the governor, another man will be the chairman, so that somebody can call another person to order. And I've put in here in my proposal in 6.2a that such a chairman must be a former governor of the CBN or a former chairman of the CBN. In such a way, one man will not have ultimate power. Absolute power, they say, corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I'm sure we saw this very recently in the operations of the central bank. This will improve independence, oversight, and then prevent group thinking and potential conflict of interest, and strengthen public confidence and expertise and experience. The second area that I seek to amend, honorable colleagues, is Section 7, the day-to-day management of the Central Bank of Nigeria. In the present instance, whenever the governor is not going to be around, Mr. Speaker, he appoints any of his deputies to take charge. But I'm written on 7.1 for amendment that the governor, or in his absence, the most senior deputy governor shall be in charge of the day-to-day management of the bank and shall be answerable to the board for his acts and decisions. This is opposed to the current provision that gives the governor the power to choose the deputy governor of his choice who acts in his absence. There is a third part, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the amendment of Section 8, subsection 3 on the issue of determination of the salaries of staff of the central bank. What I intend to achieve here is that the salaries and allowances, including pension and other allowances payable to the governor and deputy governor, shall from time to time be fixed by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, and subject to the approval of Mr. President, so that the CBN will not do this by themselves. We are not trying to say that they will not be the highest paid bank in the country, but we want to ensure that we strengthen fiscal accountability, independent determination of the compensation that goes to people who work there, fiscal responsibility, and what have you. Another section I intend to amend by this act is amendment to Section 20, sub 3, the calling in of notes and coins. The proposed amendment of Section 20 of the Principal Act addresses the need to protect public interest in the event of the need of currency swap of Naira redesign, as witnessed late last year to early this year. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the aim here is that presidential direction and notice must be public, and it must give up to 1 year notice, and there must be clarity in transition and not done in an haphazard way and that looks a bit secret. It must be published and it must be up to a year by law. The fifth amendment is on Section 48, the budgetary process of the central bank. I propose here, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, that the bank shall prepare and submit to the National Assembly through Mr. President, not later than the 30th of September each year, an estimate of its expenditure and income during the succeeding year. Not a situation where we don't know what the bank is expending. Even on the Naira note redesign, till today nobody knows what was expended on it. If there's a budget to guide this, then the institution of the National Assembly in charge of banking institutions and regulations will have a document to cross-check and do proper oversight. Honorable colleagues, I believe that if you support the passage of this bill, it will strengthen the Central Bank of Nigeria, it will give us a better CBN. I know that in some climes, the governor also serves as chairman of board, but in some climes, they have been able to separate this due to the peculiarity of their situation. I think the peculiarity of the situation in Nigeria demands that the chairmanship of the board of the CBN be separated from the governorship of the board of the CBN. I believe that my colleagues have listened to me attentively, and you agree with me that these are solid reasons why the CBN Act should be amended. I seek your support, and I trust I'll get the same this beautiful morning. Mr. Speaker, I so submit. Thank you very much.
Permit me to start by appreciating the sponsor of the bill to amend the CBN Act. It's long overdue for Nigerians to have that particular bill amended in order to reduce impunity and to eradicate the philosophy of power corrupt absolute and absolute power corrupt absolutely. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we don't need a soothsayer to tell Nigerians of what actually transpired, particularly last year, on the issue of CBN and the public relationship. There were series of impunity which I don't have enough time to explain, but I believe members, honorable members, particularly members of this 10th Assembly can attest to the fact that there was series of impunity by CBN because they were empowered by the provisions of the Act to do what they did. Secondly, with regards to the issue of budgetary provision, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we have conflicts of budget allocation or budgetary provision across GOEs and establishments. You have where you have duplication, not simply because of anything, it's simply because budgets are being done separately in the sense that the budget that is going to be presented by the President and Commander-in-Chief is different from the budget being presented by heads of GOEs and other relevant agencies. Let it be centralized so that the committees involved can do the needful to make sure that there will be there is no duplication. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Nigeria is aware of what is happening today, particularly with CBN's impunity. Let me give you an example. There was a circular by the CBN Management Committee to extend the tenure of chief executive officers and MDs of financial institutions in the country, which from 10 years to 12 years. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, that can encourage some abuses of corporate governance as well as on-the-job consumptions will be encouraged among chief executive officers. And as a result of this, it's going to affect the economy negatively, as we are all aware. So I thank the mover of the sponsor of the bill for the CBN Act to be amended by all the relevant committees of the CBN to make sure that at the end of the day we have a standard law that can compete and work at par with their counterparts across the world. Thank you so much for listening.
I want to thank the mover or the presenter of this bill, but not in total. My reason is this, especially the first section, and I think if we return it, which is 62A, which is being proposed, I'm seeing a situation where if we return this, we'll have a cartel in the CBN, and then probably a totalitarian institute. Mr. Speaker, retaining this section will drain the spirit of federal character. I will give you an example. Assuming the existing central bank is from my state, Zamfara, and Mr. President, who had the sole responsibility of appointing...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Order 9, Rule 1. Mr. Speaker, in the principles of debate, members that contribute positively to the bill in question will be allowed to exhaust themselves before any member who has a negative position of that.
It's noted, it's just a point of arraignment, so please continue.
The existing CBN is from my state, and that the only probably former CBN governor as being proposed by this bill is from my state. The negative implication therein is enormous. So rather than talking former, I think I would rather propose for the House that the chairman should be a seasoned banker with so cognizance, experience, and so many years. I think it's better we align to that rather than thinking of former. Thank you very much.
Of opportunities for members and for the general public to make inputs on how to improve the bill itself. So I'm sure the mover has taken note, and if this bill will see the light of the day, even at the point of public hearing, you can make such kind of amendment to ensure that the right kind of people are recognized on the board. Thank you. Leader, are you still minority leader? Do you still want to contribute?
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to support the second reading of this bill. There is no doubt, like other speakers have said, that our Central Bank Act is overdue for legislative overhaul. We have practiced that act, and we have seen a lot of loopholes, which has led to abuses, particularly the last central bank governor, who, whilst on the seat, was even contesting or meeting to contest for presidency, and we appear to be helpless because there are no sufficient provisions in the act. Mr. Speaker, aside that, we have also seen a situation where, under the present act as couched, Central Bank of our country is involved in very spurious projects under the guise of corporate social responsibilities. Town halls are being built, and the National Assembly cannot sufficiently hold them to tax because the law permits them to do so. There are several anomalies that we need to check, and that's the essence of having a parliament. And so what we are doing today, having identified the lacuna, is an attempt to fill it. So I am in support and pray that we allow the second reading. When we get to the committee of the whole, then we can start dotting the I's and crossing the T's where necessary. So I urge us to allow the second reading of this bill because it is very necessary. Thank you, sir.
I think this bill is good to go. We can put the question, please. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act (CAFC) for laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and for related matters. Second reading.
The third order of the day is a motion on reconsideration of outstanding bills from preceding assembly, standing in the name of Honorable Francis Waive. Honorable Waive is hereby invited to move the motion.
Reconsideration of outstanding bills from preceding assembly. I will now read the titles of each of the bills concerned. Chartered Institute of Mentoring and Life Coaching of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2023, HB 753, Institute of Chartered Trustees of Nigeria Establishment Bill, HB 2020, HB 714, Federal College of Education, Ugwaha, Edo State Establishment Bill 2023, HB 522, National Institute of Agricultural Research, Oria, Edo State Establishment Bill 2023, HB 523, National Road Fund Bill 2023, HB 305, Bankruptcy and Insolvency Bill 2023, HB 611, National Food Safety Council and National Food Safety Management Committee Establishment Bill 2023, HB 613, Nigerian Weights and Measures Regulatory Agency Bill 2023, HB 614, Legislative Houses, Powers and Privileges Act Amendment Bill 2023, HB 615, Federal Produce Inspection Service, Enforcement of Export Standards, etc. Bill 2023 HB 616, National Research and Innovation Council Establishment Bill 2023 HB 697, and Office of Budget Management of the Federation Establishment Bill 2023 HB 698. The House notes that pursuant to Order 12/16 of the Standing Orders of the House, bills passed by preceding Assembly and forwarded to the Senate for concurrence, for which no concurrence was made or negated, or passed by the Senate and forwarded to the House, for which no concurrence was made or negated, or which were passed by the National Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the Assembly. The House may resolve that such bill, upon being regazetted or clean copy circulated, be reconsidered in the Committee of the Whole without being commenced de novo. Also notes that the aforementioned bills were passed by the preceding Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the last Assembly. Aware that the bills were read for the first time as 753, 714, 522, 523, 305, 611, 613, 614, 615, 616, 697, and 698 respectively, resolves to recommit the bills to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those were highlights of that plenary of November 9, 2023. And while the House is on recess, its Committee on Public Accounts has, however, commenced investigation on alleged mismanagement of COVID-19 intervention funds with a view to ascertaining how ministries, departments, and agencies of government utilized funds made available to them during the pandemic. We now bring you highlights of one of the sittings of that committee.
The House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has directed the Ministry of Industries, Trade and Investment to refund the sum of 75 billion naira allocated to HIT as coronavirus intervention funds to the coffers of the government. Chairman of the committee, Bamidele Salam, affirmed this as the committee resumes investigative hearing on alleged mismanagement of COVID-19 intervention funds. The Public Accounts Committee is investigating 56 ministries, departments and agencies of government on the utilization of COVID-19 intervention funds after a resolution on a motion raised by Zakaria Nyapa. The committee found out the refusal of the Ministry of Industries to honor its invitation on 3 occasions without prior notice of such action.
Let me quickly also give us this information, and I want the media to be a part of this information. And there's also a motion to that effect. There is a federal ministry, the Federal Ministry of Trade, Industries and Investment, that got a sum of 75 billion naira as COVID-19 intervention fund. 75 billion naira. The Public Account Committee has sent invitations to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment 3 times, and none of the area you can leave. None of the invitations has been honored. The Federal Ministry of Trade, where is the Federal Ministry of Trade was to make their appearance yesterday. That was the last opportunity that was given, and there was no such appearance. 75 billion naira was appropriated to them. I want to call on Honorable Akiba. Honorable Akiba is in the house. Honorable Akiba, are you ready with your motion? Are you ready? Yes, please. Yes, please sit down and please move your motion on this matter.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, Basi Akiba is my name. I move with Using the relevant section of the financial regulations, I move that this very ministry be asked to refund the sum of 75 billion to government. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there? I remain Honorable Attorney Matthew Nwogu. I second the motion ably moved by my friend Honorable Akiba. I so second.
As on financial regulation. And the financial regulations of the federal government, which is one of the guiding laws and regulations affecting the expenditure of government funds and accounting of government funds, in section 3112, 3115, 3105, 3101 has outlined different penalties for persons holding government offices, especially accounting officers who refuse to give account of how monies are expended to the Attorney for the Federation and to the National Assembly, which is the body constitutionally empowered to get such accounts audited and reported on. And let me quickly add this. Section 111 of the financial regulation even goes further to say that even where an accounting officer has ceased to hold such an office by virtue of retirement, resignation, or whatever it is, that person can still be called upon at any time to account for the monies which were released by the government during his tenure. And in this case, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, as at the time of this expenditure, and all other persons in the ministry as at now who are supposed to give account, the former permanent secretary and the current permanent secretary, are affected by this motion to refund the sum of 75 billion naira back to the federal government as COVID-19 intervention fund, which, as far as we are concerned, has not been expended. So those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Those against, you say nay. The ayes have it. The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the permanent secretary, is hereby ordered to cause a refund of a sum of 75 billion naira back to the Federation account within 7 days and present documents to indicate such a refund unfailingly. Thank you.
1, 2, go.
I, Daju Ketelo, do solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence I shall give before the committee and all the documents that I will present before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you very much. You can please go ahead and sign the forms that you have with you.
The Federal Ministry of Health was also directed to return 10 billion naira earmarked for the production of COVID-19 vaccines, which was allegedly never utilized by the ministry.
I will invite you to speak to the summary of the document that you presented. They are not paged, but I can see they are like 5 pages, 5 or 6 pages. You can please speak to that document before we go into the question and answer session. Thank you.
We looked at what you had requested for, and I would like to first of all apologize for the not numbering of what was presented to you. My apologies for that. The Federal Ministry of Health, when we received the records, the disbursements from our records, show we were paid in 2 tranches. The first tranche was 6.460 billion, and then the second tranche was 2.5. And the first tranche of 6.46 was for the supply, installation, and maintenance of oxygen plants, while the second tranche of 2.5 billion was for the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerators. So for the ministry, sir, they are up to 18 items on what was submitted. And if I may crave your indulgence, so I can take it one item after the other.
Yes, please go ahead, madam.
So item 1 was for the emergency supply, installation, maintenance of 6 oxygen production plants and construction of plant houses in 6 states at the cost of 1.018,599,722.69. And the date of award of this contract was on the 15th of October 2021, and it was given to Messrs. Supreme Meditech Limited with their address stated as 14 Haile Selassie Street, Asokoro, Abuja. The status of this project is completed. It was started and completed. The second item, which is the emergency supply, installation and maintenance of 9 oxygen plants, of 9 oxygen production plants and construction of plant houses in 9 states at the sum of 1.527,898,613.49. Award was equally given on the 5th of October 2021 to Mrs. Cripmet Chiropathic Limited with an address in Ademola Crescent, Wuse 2. This is still an ongoing project, but what has been paid thus far is 1.145,911,960.10. I would please read everything out and then tell you why some are still ongoing, Mr. Chairman, sir. For number 3, emergency supply, installation and maintenance of 13 production plants and construction of plant houses in 12 states and the FCT at the sum of 2.206,964,663.93. Award given on the 5th of October 2021 as well to Mrs. Air Separation Nigeria Limited with an address at Ikeja, Lagos. This is completed, the total sum paid to the contractor. The fourth item is the emergency supply, installation, maintenance of 10 oxygen production plants in 10 states at the sum of 1.697,665,126.10. Award equally given
just make sure that you indicate is it million or billion, just billion, for the purpose of...
sorry, billion.
Yeah, I can...
Yes, billion.
Billion, yeah, I can see from the document.
Yes.
But for those who don't have the document, we'll be listening to you.
My apologies.
So just, yes.
1.697,665,126.10 billion. Award given to Messrs. Presto Paco Limited on the 5th of October 2021 with an address at Oji Uzokalo House, Central Business District, Abuja. The sum of 1.358,132,100.15 billion has been paid to the contractor and it's still ongoing. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of incinerator house at the Federal Medical Center, Kefi, at the sum of 178,820,000 naira. And this was given to Mrs. Mendrix Integrated Services Limited, awarded on the 10th of August 2021 with an address at Amazon Street, Maitama. The complete sum has been paid and this is completed. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of the incinerator house at the Federal Medical Center, Bida, Niger State, at the contract sum of 177,990,000 to Mrs. Mendrix Integrated Services Limited on the 10th of August 2021, and this is completed. Payments all made. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of incinerator house at the University Teaching Hospital Ilorin at the contract sum of 178,400,000 awarded to Messrs. Mendrix Integrated Services Limited on the 10th of August 2021 with the same address, Maitama, Abuja. This is completed, all sums paid. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of the incinerator house at the Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe at the contract sum of 178,850,000 naira to Messrs. Mendrix Integrated Services Limited, awarded on the same date of 10th of August 2021, the same address of 13 Amazing Street, Maitama, and this has been completed and all sums paid. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of incinerator house at the Federal Medical Center, Umuahia, given to Messrs. Alecram Integrated Services Nigeria Limited on the 10th of August at the contract sum of 177,990,000, and this has been addressed at number 3 Ibrahim Musa Avenue, Malali New Extension, Kaduna. This has been completed. The next item, which is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of incinerator house at the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital at the contract sum of 179,200,000 was given to Messrs. Alecram Integrated Services with the same address of Malali New Extension, Kaduna, at the contract sum of 179 on the 10th of August, and this has been completed. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of the incinerator house at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, Port Harcourt, at the contract sum of 179,200,000 to Mrs. Alecram Integrated Services Nigeria Limited on the 10th of August 2021 was when the award was given, and this has been completed, all payments made. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of the incinerator house at Irua Specialist Teaching Hospital, that's in Edo State. This award was given to Messrs. Alecram, also Integrated Services Nigeria Limited, addressed at New Extension, Malali New Extension, Kaduna, awarded on the 10th of August 2021 at the contract sum of 178,400,000. This has been completed, all payments made. The next item on the list, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of the incinerator house at the Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, at the contract sum of 177,950,000 to Messrs. Stepcho Nigeria Limited with an address at Imo Crescent, Garki, Abuja. On the 10th of August was when the contract was awarded, and this has been since completed. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of incinerator house at the ATBU Teaching Hospital, Bauchi, were awarded to Messrs. Stepcho Nigeria Limited on the 10th of August at the contract sum of 178,030,000 with an address at Imo Crescent, Garki, Abuja, and this has been completed as well. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of the incinerator house at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, Maiduguri, given to Messrs. Stepcho Nigeria Limited, awarded on the 10th of August 2021 at the contract sum of 178,850,000, and this has been completed. The next is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of incinerator at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Lagos, given as well to Messrs. Stepcho Nigeria Limited, awarded on the 10th of August 2021 at the contract sum of 177,950,000, and this has been completed. The next item is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of incinerator house at the Federal Medical Center, Birnin, Kebbi State, awarded to Messrs. Stepcho Nigeria Limited on the 10th of August at the contract sum of 178,030,000, and this has been completed, all payments made. The last but not the least is the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerator and construction of incinerator house at the Federal Medical Center, Gusau, at the contract sum of 178,820,000, awarded to Messrs. Stepcho Nigeria Limited on the 10th of August 2021, and this has been completed. However, I would like to state, Mr. Chairman, sir, that the ministry owes the total sum of 721,519,679 naira 34 kobo for the two companies that are yet to complete the supply and installation of the oxygen plants, which are Equipment Therapeutic Limited, who has a contract sum of 381,986,653.39 remaining, and Presto Paco Limited that has 339,533,025.95 kobo remaining. And the reason why this has not been concluded, Mr. Chairman, sir, is that the companies Equipment Therapeutic Limited and Presto Paco that are yet to complete their jobs is because for Presto Paco Limited, they supplied the cylinders with the wrong valves and are yet to wrong valves for the oxygen plants, the wrong valves, and they are yet to replace them. However, all the plants have been supplied, installed, and the training's done, but they need to change the valves because they've submitted and they were told to change them before the rest of the payment will be made. As for Equipment Therapeutic Limited, they have supplied all 9 plants, installed and trained the staff. However, 2 of the plants developed problems not long after installation, and the defects are being corrected. Also, I'm informed that one of the components, an oxygen compressor or booster, and booster was supplied, but though functional, is not according to the specification that was given, because specifications are given and sometimes they give you the wrong equipment without what was specified. So what was supplied was with the wrong specification, so they were told to change that. However, in the ministry, honorable members, the staff of the oxygen desk were there to supervise the installation, the commissioning, and the training of each of these plants. And all the staff were trained for the prevention and maintenance of these plants. And since the ministry, through the Department of Hospital Services, advises the ministry on what is needed and the correct specifications for the job completion, because they have to give us a job completion certificate before the rest of the payment is made. That is why we are yet to complete payment, and until they correct those defects that the ministry has informed them about before the remaining payment of 721,519,679.34 will be given. I so submit. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for PAMSEC in discussing this, to give us some insights into why the ongoing projects have not yet been completed 3 years down the line. My first question about that is whether you have funds to pay as soon as these people when these people complete, or when they complete you start running around, although one would ordinarily expect that these funds will still be there. But it's a question I would want you to answer. And then another question I would want to ask, at 178 million thereabout for the procurement and installation of medical waste incinerators, I think I've been to Otibohai, Irwa, and I'm just imagining whether you would say that 178 million, since that's about the average for each of them, if it's good for, this country got value for money that was spent, looking at what was on ground and the amount of money spent. I want you to speak to that, whether in all conscience this country got value for money for each of that. Then the states where the supply and installation of maintenance of oxygen plants, you just listed 6 states, 9 states, 12 states, 10 states.
I've tried to put that together to make a 37. I know you are including the Federal Capital Territory, but I would have preferred a situation where the names of the states are stated to each of the expenditures, such that with the differences in the expenditure on each of these locations, one will be able to tell the number of states covered and know that that is why, for instance, number 3 is 2.2 billion, whereas number 1 is just 1 billion. So that we know that there's some fairness in this spread. In fact, that leads me to the incinerators. You only have about 14 sites out of 37 states. And I'm quickly looking for my state and a few other states that are not there. And I wonder why you excluded us. And if you didn't exclude, the geopolitical matching, whether these 14 are evenly spread among the 6 geopolitical zones, those are the questions I have for you for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam, you can just take note of those questions so that you can take them, in batches. Does anyone have any other question?
That of all contractors in Nigeria, in one instance, one contractor was given 7 slots or 6 slots. In another contractor was given 5 slots. So, isn't it interesting, madam, that one will assume that has to be a conflict of interest somewhere, while one contractor, MS Stepco, will win 5 contracts, while there are millions of contractors in Nigeria. In another instance, MS Mendrix will win 6 contracts, while there are millions of contractors in Nigeria. What is the difference in their bidding that warranted you to award this contract to? Only 2 contractors out of 14 has 12 of these contracts.
Thank you, Honorable. Any other question of BPP approval for the inclusion of MS Supreme Meditech Limited in your award of contract? I seem not to find them from the list of companies approved by the BPP for you to consider for the award of this emergency contract. Mrs. MS Supreme Meditech, MS, is it MS Cresto? Is that number 4? Yes. Number 4 is yes, MS Cresto Parco Limited, and Equipment Therapeutic Limited. I need you to please provide the BPP documents that approve those contracting firms for the what was the duration of the contract that you awarded to Equipment Therapeutic Limited? By the letter of award, when are they supposed to have completed and delivered, the project by the letter of award and the contract that was signed between the federal government and that company? Thank you. So you can take those ones first.
What is the difference on expenditure? I would say yes, we got value for money, Honorable. The incinerators for the hospitals, as it is, was given based on the specification by the hospitals. Not all hospitals have the same specifications. So every hospital has its own specification of the incinerator it wants, from my information. And so every hospital requested for, we sent out to them what are the specifications, you give us the specifications, and I would say that yes, we did get value for money for those incinerators that were placed in all those hospitals. However, I would apologize for not giving you the exact states, because you said the states are not listed. Yes, I would have to do that and tell you. Please get your headphone. But why do we have 14 out of 37 states? I would like to say, sir, that I think it was based on need. I cannot say why exactly, since I wasn't there at the time. I'm just a few months in Federal Ministry of Health, but I was informed that it was based on need, and it was for emergency procurement. So that was quickly done. But I want to believe that was it evenly spread? Based on what we read out, sir, there is in all the geopolitical zones, southwest, northeast, north central, southeast, south-south, Irwa, south-south, Calabar, Port Harcourt, southwest, northeast, northwest. So I would say that yes, sir, it was evenly spread to the 6 geopolitical zones. But I'm very sure that we would have in 2024 and going beyond, that any state that has been excluded, any federal teaching hospital or federal medical center or specialty hospital that does not have an incinerator would definitely have, because we've been having requests. So I'm sure by 2024, sir, you would know that we would have, if there is any request for an incinerator, that they would get it, sir. So if your state is not captured, my apologies, we will look into that, sir. If there's a teaching hospital, a medical center, and a specialty hospital within that state, federal, we would do that, sir. As to 1 billion against, some had 2 billion.
On the same matter? Yes. Please.
Yes, sir.
You said something very interesting.
Yes.
You said those states that didn't receive or that were not accommodated, they will receive from
I said any federal,
any state.
Any federal.
Wait, I know what you said. Yeah. They will receive from 2024 if the need arises or if they request. Why can't your agency go to all the federal medical centers in the whole country and find out the status of any incinerator they may have and make sure that everything there is working, and if there's need to change what they have, you provide it for them instead of when they request, because you don't know when the next national emergency will arise. So, and when it arises and what they have is not okay, then you start looking for emergency funds. So why don't you do your own part by investigating whether all federal medical centers are properly equipped with incinerators?
There is a template, or would I say a booklet, that gives and specifies all companies that have to do with medical equipment. So it is those who are with that booklet and approved by the BPP that can procure goods for the Federal Ministry of Health. As to why it is only 2, I cannot say. I do not have an answer as to why it is only 2. But I know that there are specific contractors that can bid for equipment for health.
Contractors bidded.
The table there shows that for item number 3, emergency installation of supply, installation and maintenance of 9 oxygen production plants and construction of plant houses in 9 states of Kogi, Benue, Kebbi, Jigawa, Yobe, Cross River, Ekiti, Lagos and Enugu states was given to Pripmed Therapeutics at the sum of 1,488,262,500, and BPP reviewed the contract cost to 1,329,898,613.49.
Is that okay? Yeah, I can see that, but just a moment. BPP review to how much?
1,329,898,613.
That's the construction of oxygen, 9 oxygen production plants.
Yeah, installation, yes.
Is that the one?
Yes, item number 3.
Item number 2, rather.
Okay, item number 2 is air separation. You asked for equipment and supreme.
No, just a moment. The one in reference here, handled by M Equipment Therapeutic Limited, that's what I'm referring to.
Yes, that's number 3.
Was revised by BPP to how much? 1.329.
Yes.
So where is that on this your document? On the summary of the document you first presented, is item what?
That is item number.
Is item number 2?
Item number 2.
Yeah, but the contract sum here is 1,527,898,613 naira.49, and that was well above the sum which the PPP approved for the contract sum. Madam, are you following me?
Yes, I am. I'm actually looking at my director of procurement to find out.
Yeah, but can you see that the figure is at variance with what was approved by the BPP?
Yes.
This one, the contract was awarded at 1.5 billion naira, and the PPP approved that you award at 1.3 billion naira. Madam, you see, the problem is that the numbers do not tally. You agree with me? Use your microphone, ma'am. You agree with me that the numbers do not tally? And in the Public Account Committee, we deal with figures, we deal with the laws, we deal with rules.
I'm the mover of that motion. I moved that motion because there's a general public outcry. When we are locked down during COVID, there were a lot of spending. You know, this country is not an island. People get information at every given opportunity. You have relations, you have friends, everyone, they work in different agencies of government. You go to public place, you hear about how people have spent the money when we are locked down at home. And so that motion is alleged mismanagement, and we are taking the investigation. I'm not the chairman of the committee, and I don't want us to preempt the investigation, but we are on it, and I believe something good will come out of that investigation. And also, one important reason of investigation is to tell you out there, if you have any intention of mismanaging public funds, that there's a need for accountability, that one day you'll be invited for accountability. It also cautions and reminds public officers that something may happen with what you are doing right now in the office. So the importance of the investigation cannot be overemphasized.
And ahead of the resumption of the House on the 30th of January 2024, that is barring any last-minute change, some lawmakers have been speaking on their preparedness to commence full swing the legislative business upon the resumption of the House. Let's take a listen.
In my own sense, having gone for the holiday and waiting the people, I've come to look at them. I've come to see what is actually the needs. Where do we need some intervention, especially if I bring that home to my own constituency, which is Enugu East Isuzu. On the 19th of December, I moved a motion, an urgent motion, for an intervention in this killing and banditry in certain areas of the constituency. Then when I traveled, incidentally, the problem continued. There was a lot of killing, especially after the New Year. And it still continued up till now. There was kidnapping and others. And so I made that also known, through the national network news radio. Where the chief arms have come to Enugu within that period. But I have also gone ahead. It's also because you see a lot of people are not around, but I've come to work. I've just gone to get the resolution of the House on that. We were able to write to approach the Chief of Army Staff to to do the needful by establishing. They're also doing well. They have sent in a lot of military personnel. But one thing that happens when they come and go, the attack comes. When they are there, the attack proceeds. So I've just come. If you can help to implement this by as having a military base in that area, not to put to an end this incessant killing. Every life lost means a lot. So we don't want that to continue. Meanwhile, some of them are also homeless. So I'm writing to NEMA. You can see it. I just come up to write to NEMA and hopefully to see if certain amelioration will come into their place. Then generally, we also see the suffering of people where we were able to distribute rice, but that will never be enough. Because one day food or 1 week food is not what the people want. The people want good life. Good governance is synonymous with good life. If that is not if it doesn't equate to that, that means something is lacking, and we have to put that into perspective. I also know that a lot of infrastructure is being lacked. A lot of tech things are being lacked. So these are things we are coming back to do. This is almost one of the first time that we can see that budgets were passed on record times. So if budgets are funded, there's no reason why the things in the budget wouldn't actually go on. The problem in the past, don't get me wrong, others have been doing well, but the problem in the past is that when things are not done, repeatedly it comes into the budget without being done, then it becomes, you start having some issues with that. That people don't see the budget. The budget is like any other product. The people have to see the budget on their roads, and the pump water, in their lives, in the school. Budget is I would say, intimately connected to the people. Every government budget should be connected to people. And I expect this to do exactly that same route. So the budgets have been given to us and we are studying it to see where it will affect our people. I do hope that with the renewed hope and with every other thing, mantra the government is saying and the ones from the house, because this house has the authority of the purse, that we'll be able to do well. However, there's always room for improvement. I've just come back from the Southeast on the oversight on COVID-19 expenditure. And the report will soon be out, maybe from the chairman and others. But we also noticed that there's palpable evidence that you need to study, you need to follow up every project as it's been done, not just when it's been finished. Because you find out that a project where a contractor doesn't know where he has a project, something's wrong. Or when a contractor doesn't know the road to where a project is, or where the people from the NTA, I don't even know the route to where a contract was executed, is a very bad sign. These things could have. These are some of the things we could also express. That is why there is need for an oversight. Probably before they say oversight is about enrichment and others. But I can tell you, why would you have a contract for your place to have electricity? And you go to a place and make sure it doesn't work, and use inferior material. That means the government is not the problem, but the people in some instances. But it can also mean effective leadership to monitor that. And I think that is also one of the cardinal functions of the House. But apart from lawmaking, you also do an oversight to ascertain whether government money has been well implemented or how it has been well utilized. Is it actually appropriate to use that or not? These are areas, and I can tell you, a lot of things have been marveling, So it's very good that also, while making law, you also monitor implementation.
The 10th Assembly Speaker, Right Honorable Tajin Abbas, Honorable as the Ian Zazzam, where the traditional institution come from too. The Committee of Traditional Institutions is not doing anything new other than what it is already around. First of its we need to understand who are those traditional rulers. These are people who are custodians of our land. God has given them that opportunity. They are where they are and doing the needful for the betterment of Nigerians. Our committee is scheduled with the responsibilities of meeting them and discuss one-on-one with them, hear from them, in order to understand where are we heading to. Today in Nigeria, you find out that the absence of them in constitutional mandate or constitutional role, it's created a huge gap in the area of insecurity, in the area of education, in the area of health, and so many dimensions. Where I said in the area of education, the crying today of out of school children, I want to be too, is because these our fathers, our leaders, are not actively participate in the affairs of the government. In other words, they are not being given a specific role to play. You and I, we knew in our village, if your child refused to go to school, or I refused to go, or mine refused to go, they either the Dekechi or the emir or the village heads have every sole responsibilities to caution the parent why the child is not going to school. The area of security, no visitor will come to a village that village head will not have an information about the person that comes in within 24 hours. Whether he's a good person, he's not a good person, whether he has a business, he has not business, whatever brings him into the village head has the responsibility to know what is actually happening. So such kind of people, if you take them away from the society and they are custodian of this, you think there is a gap, that's a problem. So for that, as we are coming back to the assembly from our own recess, I want to assure you that the committees are very ready to do the needful to ensure that we carry out our own responsibility, the national tax, to go all around the country, 36 states of the federation, to meet with them, listen to the traditional rulers, find out what is going wrong, what they need to add, so that we can come out of the situation that we find ourselves.
Usually, whenever you lose an election or whenever you lose a case in court, you feel that somewhere something is bad. But if it's bad because of the law, you don't blame anybody, it's the law. And that means you have to amend the law. So our laws can be improved. That is why we are here. And if you think we don't need to legislate on any other law because our law are perfect, that means there's no point we being here. So I believe we will be amending, improving our process, our laws, our legislation. And other things, the health sector, the education sector, you see how the president is managing the education to avoid all the strike. You see how the health sector, they are putting money. You see how our capital has improved in the budget this year. So gradually we should be patient with one another. We should be prayerful so that this country will work for our good. We don't have any other country but Nigeria. The zeal that the House started with, there are a lot of bills, there are a lot of motions. This is the manifesting year. The bill that we have first reading, this year we are going to have the first and the second reading, and you know the time is good, and it's going to be this year, most of the bills. And I believe the presentation we are giving our people, we have sowed a lot of seed, so to say, the bills, the laws that affect the generality of our constituents will begin to yield good results. The factors are there to make it. And even the biggest bill, which is the budget, that this is the first budget for the new government, we have passed it. There are a lot of things inside that's going to impact positively on Nigerians. And there are a lot of factors that the government put in place. The new finance circular, where there's going to be a lot of inflows of revenue to the consolidated revenue funds account. There you should be able to fund our budget reasonably. And if you check some of our revenue generating agencies, especially the custom, they took it that they're going to improve even their budget on revenue generation. And there are a lot of facility on ground, there are a lot of tools on ground. As I'm talking about the finance circular, there are a lot of revenue that agencies are supposed to hoard to keep with them. Now the new circular is saying that they should move it into the Consolidated Revenue Fund account. This will give more money for government to spend. And that means the budget implementation will be more and better for improving the welfare of the citizens of this country. So it's another way that you are sure that factors, tools, ways, channels to make better life for people in this country is on board. Especially with the removal of the fuel subsidy, there are a lot of hardship in the country. But government has as well put in some factors, some things on ground to cushion those effects. I believe this year we'll begin to see the healing, that the process of recouping from the challenge of removing the fuel subsidy. So I'm very optimistic. Some of the things they put on ground, the government put on ground to cushion a lot of challenge in the country, will bring a renewed hope for the people, and people will be happy 2024 by God's grace.
Those were the views of lawmakers on focal areas of legislation when the House resumes. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas also indicated before the House went on recess that the Green Chamber will make amendment of the Electoral Act a priority this year with a view to further reforming the electoral process. And that's much we have for this episode of the program from the National Assembly, House of Representatives. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Mitaire Ikben. Do join us again for another interesting episode of the program. Bye for now.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your